friends, I'm Jennifer with Triangle Wellness with Jennifer, and tonight I'm going to work through a yoga for knees sequence. This is a sequence that has been requested from several individuals. So first I want to talk about our knees just for a couple of minutes before we get started. So our knees are a complex joint. And what it's crucial to understand about our knees and knee pain is that we have to strengthen the muscles around the knees. So that's what's actually going to protect us from injury, is making sure that the muscles surrounding that kneecap and the knee area is nice and strong. So that's going to include our quads, our hamstrings, our abductors, abductors, and adductors, adductors, and our calf muscles. So we're going to work on exercises to help strengthen those areas in this sequence. Also, it's important to know that a lot of times people mistake knee pain for hip issues or pain that's actually generating from the hips rather than the knees. Now, I'm not saying that's always the case, but if you work on strengthening areas that we're working tonight and find that it's not doing you a lot of good, you might consider exploring areas of your hips and working on some of the hip routines and those sorts of exercises and see if those make a difference for you if the knees sequence is not doing anything for you. Another great option for your muscles in general, if you're finding that the stretching is maybe not giving you enough relief or is quick, is myofascial release. And that's a self-massage technique that you can do with exercise balls or foam rollers, things of that sort, to help roll out the quads, the hamstrings, the calves. So that's just another option that you can explore if these stretches aren't doing anything for you. And if you would like more information on that, you can put a comment or message me, and I would be happy to provide you with some additional information on that. So for the sequence that we're going to do, you will need a block and a strap. If you don't have those, it's no problem. Maybe use a book or two from around the house, a belt, a scarf, anything like that would work for this sequence. And so let's get started on our backs. And we're going to start off with the block right away. Come to lie on your back with your feet hips width apart, and you're going to just place the block in between your knees. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of activate the muscles around our knees to start with. So just squeeze as tight as you can into the block with both of your legs and then release. We're going to do this several times, again, just to activate the surrounding muscles. So we're going to squeeze, hold, and release. Squeeze and hold and release. And really give it all you have. Squeeze as hard as you can. Squeeze and release. And let's do one more. Squeeze and release. Now you're just going to take your block, and we're going to still use it, but we are going to place it under our hips. So just place the block under your hips. You might have to move it around a little bit to find the spot that's most comfortable for you. And then once you get into that position, you're going to extend your legs out, and we're going to bring the right knee and pull it in towards our chest. So we're doing half wind pose with the block under our hips this time. I'm just going to hold this for a few minutes. And your knee's not going to come in as far as it would, of course, if you didn't have the block underneath you. So that's normal if you're not able to bring it in quite as far. Okay, and we're just going to release that leg, shake it out a little bit, and we're just going to switch and do the other side. So bring the left knee in squeeze it into your chest. You might find one feels a little tighter or more stiff than the other. I can tell personally for me that the left side for me tonight is a little bit tighter. And as you hold the stretch, you'll probably find that it starts to release a little bit for you and you're able to squeeze in just a little bit closer to your chest. So just work that in a way that's comfortable for you. Okay, and now let's release that. And we're going to keep the block um, under us. You might need to adjust it just a little bit. And we're going to just lift up into a bridge. And if you want, you can hold the bridge pose. Keep your chin slightly tucked to your in towards your chest. Remember, if you're keeping your hips off of the block, you want to squeeze the inner thighs together. If it feels better to you to elevate the block up a level on the medium side and just allow your um, sacrum to rest on the block, that is also fine. But if you do that, continue to try to engage the inner thighs and your adductor muscles. Try to continue to engage those, even if you're using the block for support. So either way will work. You're engaging the muscles, so you can choose whichever way feels more comfortable for you. And this should feel really nice, especially the supported version. So we're strengthening our quads, our adductors here. Okay, we're just going to remove that block. And now we're going to do a pose that's called banana pose. So you're going to extend your legs out. Before you do that, actually, you want to shift your hips where it will start toward the right-hand side. So just shift your hips slightly to the right side of your mat. Extend your legs out long. And I like to cross my right ankle over my left ankle and extend your arms up overhead. Grab the elbows, and the upper part of your body is just going to tilt towards the left. So you are making a banana shape with your body here. It's a nice side body stretch, so you should feel that all along the right side of your body. And we're just going to hold here. Continue to breathe. And now we're just going to come back to center. Shift your hips slightly to the left-hand side of the mat. Your feet are going to come over to the right. Your left ankle will cross over your right. And then the upper body is going to shift over towards the right side of your mat. So we're just making this shape on the other side. Should feel a nice side body stretch on the left side of your body. Okay, we're going to come out of that one now. And now we're going to make use of the strap or whatever you have handy. If it's a belt or a scarf, whatever you have is fine. And we're just going to do a hamstring stretch, but by using the strap, probably going to be a little bit easier, especially if you have a hard time reaching your foot when your leg is extended from the supine position. So just place the strap around the middle of the foot, and then you can extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. And you don't want to lock your knee joint. Keep a slight micro bend. And, if it feels good, you can kind of move your leg up and down a little bit. But again, just be careful not to lock the knee joint. You should feel a nice stretch in the hamstrings here. And if you have the flexibility and you don't want to use a strap, that's fine too. This just gives you a little bit of extra support too if you want to move the leg in and out a little bit like I'm doing here. Okay, and we're just going to switch to the other side. So strap comes around the bottom of the left foot, and I've got mine doubled, so you can see I got tangled up there for a second. Okay, around the left foot there, and again, like I immediately can feel the difference with this leg. Hamstrings are much tighter on my left side, so I can feel that right away. So for this leg, maybe not push quite as much. You probably notice on the video, this knee is going to stay bent a little bit more than my right side did because I don't want to force anything. Just want to gently stretch. And as I'm doing this, I can feel it start to loosen and open up more. So that's normal and good. That's what we want. You can move in and out if you want, or if it feels better to you, just hold it in a certain spot. That's fine too. Okay, and release. Okay, and now we're going to come up and we're going to do kind of a little sequence. So we're going to come up into downward facing dog. So hands shoulder width apart, fingers and palms outstretched. Make sure that you're gripped with your fingers, and hips come high. And you can take a few minutes here and just pedal your legs out. We got a good hamstring stretch just a second ago, so you might feel a little bit more loose than what you might feel in your first down dog of the day, but take a few minutes to pedal it out. Again, the heels do not have to touch the mat. And now we're going to come into a low lunge. So you want to lift your right leg and pull it through between your hands, lower the left knee, and we're coming into a low lunge. So you can let your the back foot come down on the mat. Keep your pelvis. So we're not trying for a back bend here. You want to keep your pelvis kind of neutral. So you might have to tilt your pelvis in a little bit in this low lunge. And you should feel that when you tilt that, your pelvis in, you should feel the left quad engage. So that's what you're after, is to feel that the quad muscle in your left leg in this lunge. We're just going to hold here for a second. And we're going to come back into a downward facing dog for just a second here. And then we're going to step into warrior two. So we're going to lift our right leg again. We're going to step it forward through our hands. We're going to rotate and come onto the side of your foot. So the side of your left foot should be facing should be parallel with the short end of the mat. Your arms are going to extend forward and back. It's important to keep the front knee over the ankle, and your pelvis should be engaged, your glutes should be engaged, so your hips are facing to the side and your glutes are engaged, so you should feel a stretch in your quad. Just going to hold that stretch a little bit here. And then we're going to come forward. You're going to bring your left foot to meet the right and cross your right ankle over your right foot over your left foot. And we're just going to come down into a forward fold. You can keep a slight bend of the knees here. And just kind of, move your body side to side. See how that feels. Get a good stretch there. This is a good stretch for the IT band also. So the side muscle on the side of your leg and hip. And just move around for a few minutes. Not really trying for like a major flow here. We're trying to just get into the poses and use them as a way to stretch the muscles and strengthen the muscles that are surrounding the knee. And now uncross those feet. You're going to come up and we're going to come into chair pose. So your knees are going to bend. Your hips are going to move back. Most of the weight should be in the heels of your feet. And then you want to look up at your thumbs if that's comfortable for you. You're just going to hold this. You can do it. I know this one can get tough sometimes. Hold it just a second more. Release and forward fold. Okay, great work. Let's step back into downward facing dog. And we're going to do that on the other side. So we're going to start with the left foot. We're going to bring that into a low lunge. So left foot forward, right foot drops, foot comes to the mat. And again, we're going to keep that pelvic tilt a little bit so that we feel this in the right quad this time. We're just going to stay here for just a few seconds and get that stretch. Making sure that the knee is over the ankle. And let's come back into downward facing dog. And now we're going to shift into warrior two on the left side. So left leg comes up and forward. Your right leg is going to turn so that your foot is parallel to the edge of the mat. Again, we're going to keep our knee over our ankle. We're going to extend our arms, one forward, one back, as level as we can. You're going to keep pushing the thigh of your left foot, or of your left leg, away from you. So don't let it collapse inward. You want to utilize the muscles and push back. Back leg is also strong. Okay. And now we're going to come forward and we're going to cross the left foot over the right this time. And we're going to take that same forward fold and take a few minutes here to shift left and right. Enjoy the stretch. Should be feeling this more down the side of the right leg. You might feel this in your hamstrings too if you have tight hamstrings. Okay, and now we're going to uncross and we're going to come back into chair one more time. The feet can be apart, hips lower. Remember, most of the weight is going to be in the heels. Look up if it's comfortable for you. Hold here. And release into a forward fold. Okay, we're going to step back into downward facing dog. Okay, and now we have one more sequence that we're going to do on each side. This time we're going to start by coming into a high lunge. So let's lift our left leg. Let's bring that foot through to our hands. And we're just going to lift up into a high lunge. So again, the knee is going to stay over the ankle. Back heel is pushing towards the mat. It is elevated, but pushing actively toward the back of the mat. Our arms are lifted. Spine's extended. And now what we're going to do is we're going to tilt our chest forward and we're going to keep our arms up. And you should feel the stretch move into the front thigh on the outer thigh. You'll feel that your stretch has moved more from the back leg to the front leg. And now we're going to shift into warrior three. So we're going to keep our grounded leg bent for warrior three. So you're going to come up and you're going to lift your back leg, but you're going to keep the standing leg bent. So for those of you that know warrior three, most often we have this front leg straight, but for tonight's purposes, we're going to keep that knee bent and we're going to make sure that your back leg really is no more than it's parallel to the ground, but you're about at a hip's distance, so no higher than that. All right, and let's come down and shake it out for a second. Great job. That one's a little challenging. And so now let's just step back into a high lunge on the opposite side. So step back with your right foot. It's going to start back first, or this time your left knee over the left ankle. We're just going to stay in this high lunge. Lift your arms. You should be feeling a good stretch in the back leg, back glutes. And now we're going to shift forward a little bit, drop our chest, lower our chest, and now you should feel that stretch shift into the right leg, or the back of the left leg. Make sure to keep that knee over that ankle. And now we're going to shift into that warrior three on this side. So step forward. You're going to keep the knee bent of the left leg, and you're going to elevate the right leg back, keeping the knee bent. Your hands can just stay. I've got mine in prayer at my chest. That's what's comfortable for me, but whatever hand position you would like. And if you're shaking, that's okay. Lower. Shaking's okay. You're gaining strength. So it's fine to shake. Don't worry about it. Also, if you need to use a wall to help support you, that's perfectly okay too. Okay, so we are going to come down to seated now. We just have a couple more stretches that we're going to do. So we're going to do a wide ankle forward fold. So bring your legs out as wide as is comfortable for you. And then make sure that you want to have your feet and legs with an outward rotation. So you should feel like you're externally rotating your legs, not allowing them to internally rotate. So this way you're going to make sure that you're actively externally rotating. And then as you sit with a straight spine, you're going to slowly begin to walk the hands forward. You don't have to go very deep. You can go as far as is comfortable for you. Do keep a slight micro bend in the knees. Do not lock the joints. And then just come forward as far as is comfortable for you. And we're just going to hold this stretch for just a little bit here. Okay, and slowly begin to come up. And just come to a cross-legged position or any seated position comfortable for you. So again, just to kind of recap, this is mostly about ensuring that the muscles surrounding the knee are strengthened so that they can support, so that your knee can support the weight of your whole body. And so in order to do that, we have to strengthen all those muscle areas around it. Again, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to comment, reach out to me. Thank you for allowing me to come into your homes tonight. I hope that those of you who are having some knee issues find some relief with this, and have a great rest of your night.